All right, Footers chapter 70 for Athamas. 1. Athamas' name is connected in the myth with Athamenea, the city which he is said to have founded in the Thessalian wilderness, but seems formed rather from Ath high and Amen to reap, meaning the king dedicated to the reaper on high, namely the goddess of the harvest moon. The conflict between his rival wives Ino and Nephel was probably one between early Ionian settlers in Boeotia who had adopted the worship of the corn goddess Ino and the pastoral Aeolian invaders. An attempt to make over the agricultural rights of the Ionian goddess Ino to the Aeolian thunder god and his wife Nepheli. The rain cloud seems to have been foiled by the priestess's parching of the seed corn. 2. The myth of Athamas and Phrixus records the annual mountain sacrifice of the king or of the king's surrogate. The first a boy dressed in a ram's fleece, and later a ram during the New Year rain-inducing festival which shepherds celebrated at the spring equinox. Zeus's ram sacrifice on the summit of Mount Pelion, not far from Laphystium, took place in April when, according to the zodiac, the ram was in the ascent. The chief men of the district used to struggle up wearing white sheepskins, and the rite still survives, where today, in the mock sacrifice and resurrection of an old man who wears a black sheep's mask. The mourning garments ordered for the children sentenced to death suggest that a black fleece was worn by the victim and white ones by the priest and the spectators. Biades's love for Phrixus calls Potiphar's wife's love for Joseph a companion myth from Canaan. Much the same story is also told of Antia and Bellerophon, Critias and Peleus, Phaedra and Hippolytus, Philonome, and Tennis. 3. That Nepheli cloud was Hera's gift to Athamas and created in her own image suggests that in the original version, Athamas, the Aeolian king, himself represented the thunder god, like his predecessor Ixion and his brother Salmoneus, and that when he married Themisto, who in Euripides' version of the myth is Ino's rival, she took the part of the thunder god's wife. 4. Ino was Leucothea, the white goddess, improved her identity with the triple muse by reveling on Mount Parnassus. Her name, she who makes Sinwi, suggests Ethiophalic orgies and the sturdy growth of corn. Boys will have been bloodily sacrificed to her before every winter sowing. Zeus is himself credited with having deified Ino in gratitude for her kindness to Dionysus, and Athamas bears an agricultural name in her honor. In other words, the Ionian farmers settled their religious differences with the Aeolian shepherds to their own advantage. 5. The myth, however, is a medley of early cult elements. The sacramental Zagreus cult, which became that of Dionysius the Kid, is suggested when Athamas takes Ino for a she-goat. The sacramental Actaeon cult is suggested when he takes Lurcus for a stag, shoots him, and tears him in pieces. Ino's younger son, Melicertes, is the Canaanite Hercules Melkarth, protector of the city. Alas, Moloch, who as the newborn solar king comes riding on dolphin back towards the isthmus, and whose death at the close of his 4 years' reign was celebrated at the Isthmian funeral games, period. Infants were sacrificed to Melicertes on the island of Tenedos and probably also at Corinth, as they were to Moloch at Jerusalem. 6. Only when Zeus became god of the clear sky and usurped the goddess's solar attributes did the fleece become golden. Thus, the first Vatican mythographer says that it was the fleece in which Zeus ascended the sky. But while he was inducer of the thunderstorm, it had been purple-black. 7. In one version of the myth, Hippias, fragment 12, Ino is called Gorgopis, Grim-faced, a title of Athens, and savage Sciron, who hurled travelers over the cliff, took his name from the white parasol, more properly a paraloon, carried in Athens' processions. The Malurian rock was evidently the cliff from which the sacred king or his surrogates were thrown into the sea in honor of the moon goddess Athene, or Ino, the pastoral parasol, the parasol being apparently used to break the fall. 8. Heli's drowning parallels Inos. Both are moon goddesses, and the myth is ambivalent. It represents the nightly setting of the moon and at the same time the abandonment of Heli's lunar cult in favor of Zeus's solar one. Both are equally sea goddesses. Heli gave her name to the junction of two seas. Ino, Leucothea, appeared to Odysseus in the guise of a sea moo and rescued him from drowning. 9. Athamus's tribe is more likely to have migrated from Boeotian Mount Laphystium and Athamania to Thessalian Mount Laphystius and Athamania than contrariwise. He had a strong connection with Corinth, the kingdom of his brother Sisyphus, and is said to have founded the city of Acrophaea to the east of Lake Copius, where there was a field of Athamus. Stephanus of Byzantine sub-Acrophaea, Pausanias 9:24-1. Several of his sons are also credited with the foundation of Boeotian cities. He is indeed plausibly described as a son of Manius and king of Orchomenus, which would have given him power over the Copaic Plain and Mount Laphystium, and allied him with Corinth against the intervening states of Athens and Thebes. The probable reason for the Athameneans' northward wanderings into Thessaly was the disastrous war fought between Orchomenus and Thebes, recorded in the Hercules cycle. Nepheli's ragings on the mountain recall the daughters of Minyas, who are said to have been overtaken by a Bacchic frenzy on Mount Laphystium. The alleged origin of the Agranoia festival at Orchomenus. I love butchering those names. I love it.